I've been roped into making lunch for the feed team today. I'm going to use it as a chance to show you just how much the cost of some food items have gone up in the last 12 months. Because your supermarket is where you see a bunch of global factors impact the cost of your lunch. The average basket of groceries is up 8% in the last year, 1% higher than inflation. That is on top of a 4.3% increase last year. The food group that has gone up the most is dairy, followed by bread, grains, and cereals. Then food outside these categories, so things like coffee, tea, frozen meals, and health supplements, while fruit and vegetables have increased by 5%. There are a bunch of reasons for these price hikes that I'll get into, but the biggest one is the war between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine was dubbed the world's food bowl because it was the 5th largest exporter of wheat. Australia was the 6th largest exporter before the war broke out. So now
Australia has to provide all that supply around the world, so that can also drive up prices for people at home.
This had a knock-on effect on the production costs of dairy, as food and fertilizers became more expensive. Milk production was 7% lower in the second half of last year because of bad weather, like flooding on the east coast and a drier start to the year in southern Victoria and Tasmania. Higher gas prices related to the Russia-Ukraine war are also impacting our groceries. Before the war, Russia was the 2nd largest producer of gas. Since the invasion, many countries imposed sanctions on Russia's gas, so the demand for Australia's has gone up worldwide. Energy is used throughout the entire process of food production, from the machines on the farm to the lights in the supermarket. COVID is also to blame for these price hikes.
We also had an issue during COVID with a disruption to our supply chains in the Asia Pacific, particularly with China. So there's still adjustment from that because China had a lockdown for a lot longer than other countries did, and now they're trying to open up with some difficulty.
Woolies and Coles have posted their half-yearly profits, and both are up a pretty healthy margin. So what can governments do about these prices? Not a lot, unfortunately. They can make sure they have free trade agreements in place to protect us from being hit with tariffs from other countries. They can monitor supermarket prices to make sure there's no collusion or price fixing going on. But they can't control the weather, or how another country responds to COVID or being invaded. So when can we expect these prices to fall?
In the last inflation data, it was coming down a bit. So except for the price of energy and global shocks, we can expect prices should be starting to not rise by as much towards the end of the year.
So this is how much it cost me to make a pasta lunch for the feed team, and this is how much it would have cost me if I made it a year ago. Here you go, Jen. Here you go. Homemade.
Yay!
So this meal cost $1.52 more in 2023.